From the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, your home for complete Marshall University news. You're watching MU Report.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us for the spring edition of MU Report 2019. I'm Madison Davis.
And I'm Gilbert. We are a student newscast of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University. We air this broadcast not only on West Virginia Public Broadcasting, but also on YouTube. Now, on to our top story. Marshall's administration tells faculty a drop in full-time enrollment has blown a hole in the operating budget. And the president says he's looking for about $1.8 million in salaries to make up the difference. That means trying to reduce faculty lines by up to 26 people. President Gilbert says he thinks Marshall can hit that target through attrition and not layoffs. Turns out, Gilbert says Marshall's numbers overall are steady, but the critical number of full-time students is the number that matters. This comes on the heels of years of cuts from the state, which means Marshall and other public colleges have to rely heavily on tuition.
West Virginia public school teachers are accusing lawmakers of practicing revenge instead of helping to fix schools. The legislature meets in special session with education on the agenda, but teachers in all 55 counties walked out this winter when lawmakers first proposed drastic reforms. Now, they say lawmakers are going to try again, and they're already talking about another strike. The unrest and ill will is making many at Marshall who are training to be teachers second guess. Many now say they're leaving the state because the government is actually hurting education rather than helping it.
In the state of West Virginia, there are nearly 800 teaching positions currently unfilled.
It's very frustrating.
The case isn't that there are no education students at the state's colleges and universities, but many of those students do not want to stay in West Virginia for a number of reasons.
It's depressing. It's not good.
With such a teacher shortage, elementary, middle, and high school students in the state are being taught either by substitutes or teachers who are not certified in what they are teaching.
Those kids aren't really getting a good education, and you need to have a teacher there to help get a good education for someone. And it's also a teacher acts as a role model as well for students, and bringing in people who can't really fill in the position long term or anything just doesn't overall help anyone.
One of the main reasons there are no teachers who would like to stay in this state and teach is because of the poor pay.
So West Virginia has a lot of competition. If we go across the river, we get paid a lot more. If we go to Kentucky, we get paid a lot more. If we go to Pennsylvania, we get paid a lot more. You can see the trend.
Some people may wonder why students want to even come to school to be teachers anyway, with the terrible pay, bad benefits, not to mention having to deal with kids all day. Well,
I had some pretty cool teachers.
I had a couple of math teachers when I was in middle school and high school that just made math so much fun for me.
I had tons of people growing up as teachers who helped me a lot.
One example of how poorly West Virginia's teacher statistics really are is within the last 5 years, West Virginia has certified nearly 600 math teachers, but there are still 785 math classrooms without a certified math teacher.
Almost understandable because a lot of people don't like to teach in West Virginia, and then overall a lot of people don't want to teach math in the first place.
After the statewide teacher strikes in 2018 and 2019, education majors believe it is time for the state to start listening to those who these bills will affect.
Bring in the school board, bring in certified colleges, and ask them what's going on, and actually work towards a solution instead of just fighting amongst yourselves.
With West Virginia teachers and education being a hot topic in state government for the last few years, these students are hoping for a change soon.
An example of the growing hostility came recently. The lawmaker in charge of the Senate Education Committee claims teachers didn't have enough accountability. She said, quote, "There's no fear." Teachers say that's a threat and that it's inaccurate.
A major milestone for Marshall came recently amid money concerns and education worries. For the first time in its history, Marshall is now what's called an R2 institution. It's a designation from the Carnegie classification, and it means Marshall is taking big steps in basic and applied research. All 50 states have what are referred to as land-grant institutions, and they typically have the label R1, meaning Research 1. Marshall's administrators say reaching the level of R2 is significant.
Marshall School of Medicine say 62 medical students now know where they will train and do residency. The med school recently announced the results of its annual match day, which is when students find out their location and residency work. The match was among 44,000 nationwide, and the medical community says there are a record 35,000 openings.
It's easy to mistake a spam email for a real one, especially when those emails appear to be coming from reliable sources. Fortunately, Olivia Zarilla has the story on what Marshall is doing to prevent attacks on student emails.
Hundreds of Marshall students have been increasingly subjected to spam emails through their MU Outlook accounts. And while the problem isn't new, the university's steps toward preventing the issue are.
You might also see things like multi-factor authentication on things like your bank accounts, credit card accounts, or even your if you have a separate Google account.
Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, is a process used to verify account logins via something only the user knows, such as a password, and something only the user owns, like a cell phone. And many people say that added security is necessary.
Anytime that I get an email from an unknown source, I'm like, is this something real or is this spam trying to steal my identity?
Once your account is compromised, that bad actor can go into your account and then send out additional phishing emails to all the people within your address book. And then those people get it, and then it just multiplies from there.
With MFA, students are only required to verify themselves the first time when logging in from a new device. But that extra step could potentially save them a lot of time when protecting their personal information from hackers.
It can be confusing to have a lot of spam just kind of fill your inbox when you're waiting for other emails or just about confusing things. So I do think that any sort of extra verification system would really be helpful just to cut down on that.
For those people who didn't enroll for MFA early, it will automatically be part of all Marshall emails by April. Olivia Zarilla, MU Report.
In addition to the added layers of security, IT suggests taking a moment to look at emails carefully before clicking on them as an added cautionary step. This next story mixes hope and sadness. Nobody wants to find out they have cancer. That stress gets multiplied when one finds out they have almost no hope of a cure, unless they find a genetic match. One Marshall student has the potential of finding her life-saving genetic twin thanks to an event that looked for just that on Marshall's campus.
I'm really thankful for everybody, all that everybody's doing. All the support is amazing.
Autumn Cole is a Marshall student battling blood cancer for her third time. Patients such as Cole have hope of curing their disease by finding their extremely rare genetic twin. Thankfully, charity DKMS is helping patients like Cole do just that every day.
It's extremely important just because we have so many patients that languish waiting for their matches. You only have about a 1% chance of matching with a patient, so that just goes to show how rare it is to actually find your match if you are searching for one as a patient.
Autumn's case made its way to DKMS through her friend, Adam Guthrie, a college ambassador for the charity who organized what's called a swab drive for Autumn.
Basically, we have people watch a video, basically what they're registering for. We swab your mouth, we get your saliva, and then we'll extract your DNA from it. And then if you're a genetic match to a patient, you can donate your stem cells or bone marrow to them and save their life.
While donating bone marrow or stem cells might not be part of normal college life, charities such as DKMS prefer to search for college-aged students, as it usually leads to better outcomes.
We really just want students to know that they are important. Young people between the ages of 18 and 30 actually provide their patients with a better outcome post-transplant. So we really want young people on campuses to know how big of an impact they can make.
Patients such as Cole are hopeful that drives like these can ultimately save their lives. As for Cole's case, support from outside sources such as this certainly does not go unnoticed.
DKMS has registered over 1,000 students for Marshall thanks to help from Guthrie and other supporters. While it may be a lot of work to set up events like this and get volunteers, it's all worth it for the chance to save even just one life.
Spring appears to have sprung and the campus is starting to come to life after a cold winter. Many people are starting to do some of their spring activities as the weather breaks. And as Larry Launstein Jr. reports, spring fever is everywhere on campus.
The weather is breaking and spring appears to be springing at Marshall University. And people are already starting to get into the swing of their normal spring activities.
As a West Virginian, I'd say that I definitely will be outside a lot more without shoes.
I'm just so excited to be able to get outside in the warm weather. After having such a cold, rainy winter season, it'll be nice to be able to twirl a baton or listen to music or study and enjoy the sunshine.
Being outside, the weather good, Chilling with friends, just relaxing.
Many people have conventional ways of enjoying the spring weather. In one case, not so much.
When we get a break, I like to sleep. Sleep 24/7.
I just like to get outside. I have a new bicycle, so I might ride that a little bit, or we have a pool at home, so I might be able to swim in the pool and just get out and enjoy nature.
Swim in the Kanawha River, honestly, because I'm from Chesapeake, West Virginia, home of the water crisis, but I just like to swim and canoe and kayak, just hike up a mountain, just normal West Virginia girl stuff.
Let's think. I like to walk my dog, spend time with family, go to the park, go hiking, all kinds of things.
Now that spring is sprung and the weather's turning nice, there are many activities people can do to enjoy the nice weather. Larry Launstein Jr., MU Report.
With the arrival of nicer weather, there should be plenty of much anticipated outdoor activities, and that will give Marshall students a head start on the upcoming summer. MU Report concludes this newscast with some fun. For the first time at Marshall University, people with a passion for pop culture or a passion for gaming could all share the spirit at HerdCon. As Ondo reports, it was Marshall's inaugural pop culture convention.
HerdCon, the pop culture convention, first time being held at Marshall University. To many students, faculties, and staff, this event is time for people from all around gather together. People enjoy HerdCon in different ways. You can dress up as your favorite character, participate in different gaming events, from retro video gaming, military combat, to visuality gaming, or just wander around to look for some unique toys.
This is called Key Virtual. What I do is kind of like an arcade. You pay a few dollars to play a game, but they're virtual reality games played in a high-end headset. So, like to move your hands in the game, you actually move your hands around with motion controllers. And to walk around in the game, you actually walk around the space. That's why I've got a big space behind me.
I'm actually an author, but also just really love Pokemon, if you couldn't tell from the cosplay. Yeah, so this is my book over here. I've written 3 so far. 2 are published. The 3rd one hopefully will come out soon. And then also I'm doing Pokemon and a lot of other random stuff because, like I said, I really enjoy Pokemon. So.
There were over 50 vendors who brought their own unique products, bringing various perspectives and diversity to HerdCon. There was an abundance of choices from vintage Pokemon cards to handmade cartoon art on the spot.
Oh, it's a lot more than I thought. I mean, I thought it was going to be something small, but it actually is pretty big. There's a lot of people here, and I thought we were going to be the only 2 dressed up, but apparently there are people that are a lot more dressed up than we are.
I'm surprised. It's turning out pretty good. It looks like there's a lot of vendors. I see some costumes around. It looks like it's a pretty good start. I hope it keeps up.
I think it's really awesome. It's awesome to have a con here at Marshall, and honestly, I'm impressed at how many attractions and vendors there are, considering this is the first year.
People from all ages enjoy the spirit of the event. HerdCon both benefits the community and local businesses by bringing more visitors to Huntington and also raising the profile of Marshall University. Ando, MU Report.
That's all the time we have for this edition of MU Report. Our content is generated by students in the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications. Our executive producer is Dr. Christopher Swindell. Remember, you can always catch this newscast on YouTube. I'm Gilbert.
And I'm Madison Davis. Have a great day.